All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a trip deep into the heart of India, to a land that's all about ancient forests, vibrant tribal cultures, and this amazing harmony with nature. So let's jump in and uncover the real story of Chhattisgarh.
So, our story actually starts through the eyes of a young girl named Asha. She's just looking around, completely amazed, saying, "Wow, there are so many trees here." And her sister Anshika tells her that's exactly what they're here to learn about, a state of forests and tribes called Chhattisgarh. And that right there, that's what sets the stage for our whole discovery.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, how about with the name itself? You know, every name has a story, and the story of Chhattisgarh's name gives us a huge clue about its past. And that's a really great question, right? What's in a name? Well, in this case, a whole lot. It's our first real clue into the state's heritage. So, what's the story here?
You know, the meaning is actually beautifully straightforward. Chhattis means 36, and Gar means fort. So when you say Chhattisgarh, you're literally saying the land of 36 forts. Super easy trick to remember this one. Chhattis just means 36. Simple as that.
Okay, so now that we've got the name down, let's fast forward a bit. Let's take a look at how this historic land became the modern state we know today and explore the key facts and figures that really define its identity.
You might be surprised to hear that Chhattisgarh is actually one of India's younger states. It was officially carved out of Madhya Pradesh and established on November 1st, 2000. Pretty cool, right? A new state for a new millennium.
So, the capital city is Raipur. And here's a great little memory trick for you. Think Raipur is rich in rice. And trust me, that's a theme that's going to keep popping up as we go.
And just so you know, the whole state is divided up into 33 districts. Each one has its own unique character, its own flavor that contributes to the whole.
Now, when we look at the national stage, Chhattisgarh sends 11 members to the Lok Sabha, which is India's lower house of parliament, and another 5 members to the Rajya Sabha, the upper house. And this is really important because that representation gives a national voice to one of the country's largest tribal populations.
Okay, and what about within its own borders? Well, the state's day-to-day governance is handled by a 90-member legislative assembly. These are the MLAs, the people who represent the folks of Chhattisgarh directly.
And if we take a quick look at its leadership, the state's whole political journey kicked off with its first-ever chief minister, Ajit Jogi. And today, that leadership continues with the current chief minister, Vishnu Dev Sai.
But you know, beyond all the politics and numbers, that's where you find the real soul of the state. So now, we're diving headfirst into its amazing cultural mosaic, the sights, the sounds, and of course, the tastes.
So, while you'll hear a lot of Hindi, the main local language is Chhattisgarhi, which, by the way, our young guide Aisha thought sounded really beautiful. And hey, here's another easy one to remember. The name of the state is the name of the language. Can't get much simpler than that.
This is where the culture just explodes with life. In its traditional dances, you've got forms like Panthi, Nritya, and Rautnacha, and these aren't just performances. No way. They are these incredibly powerful expressions of pure tribal joy, deeply connected to their heritage.
And speaking of culture, Asha makes another brilliant observation that leads us right into the food. She turns to her sister and says, "Hey, everything here is made from rice." And you know what? She's pretty much spot on.
That's exactly why Chhattisgarh has earned the nickname the Rice Bowl of India. See, rice isn't just something they grow here. It is the absolute foundation of their food culture. We're talking famous dishes like chila, which is kind of like a savory pancake, and fara, a steamed dumpling, both made from, you guessed it, rice flour.
All right, for our final section, we're getting into what might just be Chhattisgarh's greatest asset, its absolutely incredible natural world. This place is truly a treasure trove.
Because tucked away in all those dense forests and rolling hills, there's a natural wonder so spectacular, well, it's earned itself a pretty epic nickname.
And here it is. The state is home to the stunning Chitrakoot waterfalls. And get this, it's often called the Niagara of India because of its massive scale and just raw beauty, especially during the monsoon. It's a true masterpiece of nature. So when you put it all together, Chhattisgarh's identity is this really powerful mix of things. You have these dense forests that support a really rich tribal life, you've got tons of mineral wealth under the ground, and just jaw-dropping natural beauty everywhere you look. It really is, in every sense of the word, nature's treasure. And check this out. Here is an awesome way to remember everything we've talked about. You can actually use the first 6 letters of the name Chhattisgarh itself. C is for its tribal culture, H is for the hills and forests, the other H is for its heritage dances, A for that abundant rice, T for tribal life, and I for India's incredible waterfall.
So we end our journey right back where we started, with Asha. And her final thought? That Chhattisgarh is just a really peaceful and beautiful place. It's so simple, so honest, and it just perfectly captures the vibe of the whole state.
And that brings us to the final, and I think most important lesson from this place. The philosophy that really defines the spirit of Chhattisgarh is this simple but super powerful idea: to live in harmony with nature.
And that leaves us with one last question to think about. I mean, in our own crazy, fast-paced world, what can we all learn from a place that's built its whole identity around living in harmony with nature?